the government's recent next-gen GST reforms launched alongside the GST Bachat Utsav are showing a significant and measurable boost to consumer demand, according to data from government sources. This news confirms that reducing tax burdens is translating directly into higher purchasing power and market activity. Following the September 22nd reforms and the GST Bachat Utsav campaign, the impact on consumption is now crystal clear. The taxable value of all supplies under GST surged by a remarkable 15% during the 2-month period of September and October 2025. This is a massive jump when compared to the 8.6% growth recorded in the same period last year. The data shows a strong consumption uplift stimulated by the reduced GST rates and improved compliance. Our executive editor Krishna Kumar now joins us for more. All right, Krishna, thank you for joining us. Break this down for us in as simple ways as this can be. What does this really mean? How significantly big have the jumps been?
Okay, to put this in simple terms, it is the fact that the taxable goods for the months of September and October, this is not the actual GST collections, bear in mind. That's why the first thing that's most important to understand here is that the taxable value of the goods that were sold during September and October, the months of September and October this year, is up 15%, and that growth, when you compare it to the same period last year, the months of September and October in 2024, the taxable value of GST goods was up around 8.5%. So this is nearly double that growth, and clearly the timing of it is unmistakable. It was right at the smack of the beginning of the GST Bachat Utsav, in which we saw the rate rationalization for all products across the board. And here, this data that government sources have revealed, which show a 15% rise in the taxable value of the GST goods that were sold during this period, and that has been across sectors which have witnessed the highest rate rationalizations, like pharmaceuticals, food, FMCG or fast-moving consumer goods, automobiles, medical devices and more. So all the key sectors which witnessed huge rate rationalization in the next-gen GST 2.0 reforms have all witnessed a great uptick, better demand, and this is what economists say is a Laffer curve type effect, or the Laffer curve theory. The theory essentially means, what it essentially means is that when you cut excessive taxes, it leads to a spur in economic activity, it leads to demand being boosted, it leads to people going out there and consuming more, and that's called the Laffer curve type demand uplift, and that's what economists would call it, and that's what seems to have happened over here, at least with the data that the government sources have revealed. Growth across sectors, double the growth as compared to last year. The only thing left to see here from this stage is the kind of volume growth, which basically means the number of goods that was sold during this period. I'm sure that will also be much higher. The growth of it will be much higher than last year. Bear in mind, even last year, there was GST, taxable value growth of about 8.5%. It was not like, it was less. But the growth was 8%. But this time around, the growth is 15%. The growth has been significantly doubled, given a major push by the GST Bachat Utsav and the next-gen GST reforms. Of course, the private consumption data is yet to come out, and that will tell us a more detailed story of where all the boom the boom has been witnessed and how the boom has impacted the overall GST collections. Of course, when that data comes out as well, you'll know exactly what is the kind of growth, what is the kind of consumption boost that this GST rate rationalization has resulted in. And for now, all we know is that the taxable value of GST goods is up by 15%, a growth that is double that of previous year, which spells a great improvement in economic momentum, because bear in mind, India as an economy is what people call, is what economists call, is what everybody calls a consumption-driven economy. It's important for if the Indian economy's pace, the pace of growth needs to continue, consumption needs to continue unabated, consumption needs to be pumped up. That was one of the main motives of the GST next-gen reforms, and the timing of it all, right at the beginning of the festive season here in India at the beginning of September. So the entire festive season, including September and October, the consumers and the people could take full advantage of it. Also, an important point to note here is that the businesses have done their bit. They've passed on the benefits of rationalized GST, the cut in GST rates to the consumers in the form of prices, and that has resulted in better sales and a big uplift in demand. So all of this, is nothing but good news as far as the Indian economy is concerned, Sneha.